Hello, hello. How's it going, THL? Welcome to HearthCenter. I am Donde. It is Wednesday, best day of the week, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And with me, as always, is LotusKnight. How are you doing, Lotus?
I'm doing well, Donde. How are you doing? How's your week been?
It's been hectic, as you guys know. I've started a new job, and it's been busy. So it's a lot of stuff, but we're working through it and having fun with it. So, how about you? Anything new in your life going on?
I mean, a lot of writing, a lot of stuff to do. Nothing super new, just way more stuff than I have time for, but things are fine.
Yeah, man. A lot of stuff, a lot of time for Hearthstone, a lot of time for Hearth Center, and that's why we are here tonight. So, as always, we have our agenda down in the bottom right. Pro recap is going to be our first topic of discussions. We're also going to talk about the legacy player power rankings, the hero player power rankings. We have a little segment called the legacy and hero meta trends, which, as you guys may have seen on the website, Hat had announced it several weeks ago that the capability to see some of the lineup information is there. We also put together some charts courtesy of Hat last night that are going to show what the classes have looked like in Legacy and Hero as the weeks have gone on. So kind of an interesting little thing we want to just talk about. And as always, matches of the week. So why don't we start with Pro Week 8? Lotus, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
All right. And we like fun here. Fun is good. Like to have fun.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I'm just dancing here.
I can you've been dancing for like all season in the GIF. Like
Yes.
that's what you do, man.
Honestly, I hear no one can see me, but I actually dance with the gift sometimes.
That's awesome. That's you got to stay young at heart.
Yes.
So our first match of the week is Aeon versus the Menagerie. That was a close match, 15-13 win for Aeon as they take over the top spot in Pro. Ridiculous Hat with a 3-2 win over Base Tank. Donde with a 3-2 win over Nine Eyebrows. Typhoon fell to Icecleese, who is just been a super sub in Pro, 3-2. Markshire fell to Dabs on stream, 3-1. Dabs now 3-0 in Pro. And Coles with a 3-1 win over Dr. Bombd, and he is a sub as well. So a couple subs for the Menagerie might not have been at, we'll say, their finest since they didn't have all of their regulars, but still a pretty good match nonetheless. One that keeps the Menagerie deep in the playoff hunt and does give Aeon their sixth win of the season. So I think this was pretty much how it was predicted by most.
hmm
Was to be a close match. So this isn't really a surprising result, but a big one nonetheless for Aeon. What do you think about this,
Right.
Lotus?
Yeah, I would say that's exactly true. Aeon taking the lead, but it's not a wide lead at all. So
Oh no, not at all.
it's still up for grabs. No one's guaranteed in the playoffs. No one is out yet. Just,
I don't know if I'd say that.
well, some people are out, but most people are still, a lot of teams are still in.
Yes, definitely a lot of teams are still very much alive, as we will see as we go through the games.
Yes. Yeah, in terms of the Beard Boys versus Taste the Rainbow, your mom Ked beat Myanodon 2-3. Brick beat Honest Save 3-1. Inzi beat Hockey Boys 3-1. Lesemos beat Quirky Turtle 3-0, and Jimmy Eat Shoes beats Booze 3-1. So I think Taste the Rainbow did really well. They're a great team. Skittles has been captaining a really fun group, and I think they've been doing amazing. Even though their PRs don't really match what you would expect, they're still just doing really well in pro. And beating the Beard Boys is really big. The Beard Boys was the number one team for quite a while. So this kind of brings them into back into contention. The Beard Boys are not leaving, no, but this makes it a lot tighter.
Yeah, let's not undersell the win this week for Taste of the Rainbow because this is humongous.
Yes.
To beat the Beard
Yes.
Boys, like you said, it keeps them in the playoff hunt, very much so. Beard Boys still, they're going to be fine. I'm not too worried about them and their playoff chances just by taking the loss here. But Taste of the Rainbow, undoubtedly a bigger match for them. And if you just look at like name recognition by the way, speaking of recognition, thank you, Anfall, for your Twitch Prime sub. The name recognition of your Mumked, Brick, and Inzi up against Myanodon, Onasabe, and Hockey Boys. You look at that three and you say, wow, I got to take Myanodon, Onasabe, and Hockey Boys all day. They've been around THL, fantastic players. They're out there qualifying for Masters, and they all lost this week. That's
Right.
huge. And
Yeah.
also shout out to Jimmy Eat Shoes. Welcome to THL. Big win in your first week.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's true. First week, it's pretty big to beat Booze.
yeah. Boozosaurus, no slouch either. You sit there and you think, oh, 5 seed. Remember, it's pro. Every seed is a strong seed, no matter where
Right.
you are playing. So, which we'll see as we go into the next game here. FTL versus Tap Last. Scores a little lower in this one. It was 10-9. Tap Last took down FTL. Little bit of interesting setup here. So CMAC gets a big win over Snake, 3-1. Heat Shock with a 3-0 sweep over Berserk. Is it Berserk or BZRK? I don't know. I always say Berserk.
I
I'm
always say Berserk.
Yeah, I think that was the intent. Rabobson with a 3-2 win over Nerdstrom, and then Liquid Ox with a 3-0 win over Valdis. And sitting at the very bottom, Itachi and Bill Snyder could not get their match straightened out. There was some illness, and then there was an inability to reschedule. So that's just going to go in as a no contest. So that does kind of take away a few points from both teams. You know, we have no idea who would have won the match, but
Yeah.
but it does give Taplast the week win, which is helpful for them, of course, keeping them in the playoff hunt. And it definitely, they would have liked to pick up even more points, I'm sure, if it was in the cards.
Right.
But had Itachi won, they would have lost the 3 points for the week win. So just an interesting dynamic here. Big win for Taplast to keep them alive as well.
Yeah, I would say so. Just both teams are still in it because their scores are so tied, and having that no context is something that could affect the whole result. So just going to be a tight last 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah, still 3 weeks to go in pro. We've got this upcoming week is 9,
Oh,
then
3
10 and
weeks.
11. So
Okay.
yeah, so still 3 weeks, which is more than enough time to make up
Oh
the
yeah.
remaining gap. I mean, not even to make up the remaining gap. Tap Last is technically the 4th place team right now, so they don't have a gap to make up. They're in the playoffs. They just need to hold
Right.
tight. But it's just going to be a little tougher considering they're only 1 point ahead of Menagerie and 1 point ahead of the next team up, the Unknown.
Right. And talking about the Unknown faced Defias Brotherhood. Ducharmo 3-1 Comp, Solo Jazz 3-1 Cypher 0, Catman 3-2 Sanguine, Brashituna 3-2 Dekaname, and Sage from Defias Brotherhood actually beat Ron Mexico 3-1.
Don't say actually. Sage has been destroying Ron Mexico all
Yeah, it's
season.
true. I mean, I say actually just because it's the opposite of what the other team was going for. So
Well, of
it
course.
was a win for the Unknown in all seeds but the 5. Sage is a great player. No surprise on the win, even if Rowan Mexico is slaying it in the other series, just doing really well. The Unknown is still a very strong team. All of their players practice a lot. They've been doing really well. Ducharmo, just one of the. I think we can say he's a contender for All-Star player this season.
I would
Just
say so.
overall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, there are still a few weeks, but the chance looks pretty good for him right now.
Yeah, at this point, definitely one of the top contenders, if not the top contender for it. But yeah, this is not a surprising result. I guess Defias getting 10 might be more than some would project, just based on the fact that they have
Yeah.
only about half the points the Unknown have on the season. But Unknown needed the win. They're right there now, still in the hunt, and
Yeah.
they did what they had to do, got the win.
Yeah, that's good. And they're adding 20 points to their number, which is really nice. Defiance Brotherhood, at this point, Defiance Brotherhood and Propane Gangs they're just two teams that you cannot lose points to because it's going to be really hard for them to go far. And just it mathematically, I don't think they can get in anymore. So
Right.
as a team, you cannot afford to lose points to them. You need to be as close to 20 as possible.
And speaking of being as close to 20 as possible, Top Hat Titans reached 20 plus the 3, of course, gets them 23. Quick maths. And that's a 20-6 win over Propane Gang. That means everyone won. So Lil Hearthy, Icer, Starlax, Silver T Fox, and Top Hat Demon, all with wins over Craggy candidates. Me, Mike V, Silent Red RT, The Town Drunk, and Darkside, of course, as well on Propane Gang. So we had two sweeps and three very very tight matches. But Propane Gang has really struggled to get something going all season. So this isn't anything surprising here. But like you said, Top Hat Titans knew what the deal was. They had to come out. They had to score a lot of points, and they scored
Yes.
max. That's the
Yeah.
name of the game. If you're playing Defias and Propane Gang right now, they are spoilers. They can definitely ruin your season in the last few weeks if you have them on your schedule. Can't take them
Yes.
lightly, but you got to get as many points as you can.
Yeah, this is just the kind of matchup that you can't afford to lose a match. You basically want to go 2017, as I said. So, good job for top-headed Titans for keeping that trend up.
Absolutely.
In terms of the last match has something interesting in that both of these teams are trying to get there. They're not there yet, and both the other guys in Bad to the Bone are pretty close, but this does not close the gap. This was a super close match with Avi beating Tony Montana 3-2, Ego Waffle beating Lefty 3-1, Dirty Mike beating Pasca 3-2, Serlos beating Maniscole 3-2, and JR Juggerlaw 3-1ing A2. So I would say this was one of those matches where the lower seeds came back. Tony Montana and Lefty, they're both good players. Avi and Ego Waffle have been doing really well in ladder and in THL. I know IV's not having his most THL season, a lot of schoolwork getting in the way, but it's overall a tough match. Congratulations to the other guys. I think the two teams do keep their chances, but it's going to be really hard from here on out. I don't think they
Yeah,
can afford to lose a week.
I don't think they can either. And good on the other guys for getting the W. 18 points
Yes.
is nice, but allowing the 13 to Bad to the Bone is more than I'm sure they wanted to. And like you said, these are two
Yes.
teams that they're not like right on the cusp of the playoffs. They need big weeks to get in it, and
Yes.
a lot of the teams that are in between them and the fourth slot also won. So it didn't really close the gap. If anything, they actually slid back a little bit further, despite the win,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I mean, you did what you can do. You got the win. You got almost max points with 18, but still, they would like to get more, and they'll have the chance this week. But they are playing Aeon this week, so not the the easiest matchup. I hope personally, not in any way biased about that. So
Yeah, it's not the easiest matchup, but Hearthstone RNG always affects,
sure
and
is.
if you put it in the work, it also helps. I think a lot of people think it's all RNG, but there's a lot of work involved, and just practicing, making sure your lineup makes sense, and bringing the right lineup can make such a huge difference.
Yeah, no doubt. You can't sleep on any week, and if you're gonna play, especially in pro, knowing that the competition level is so high across all seeds, you got to plan, you got to game plan every week, and you got to bring your best. So,
100%.
no question that any team is a threat to win on any given week. But let's
Right.
jump over to Legacy for a second. We got the power rankings. That's a thing we do here.
We
That's
do.
fun, and I think we're gonna see a little bit of an I wouldn't say an uproar in this one, but this is certainly going to be controversial. I don't want to ruin anything, so I won't say any more. But let's start, as we always do, with the honorable mentions. Once we can get that up on your screen. There we go. All right, so honorable mentions. This is not the controversial part. We've got Honest Zabe is 5-1. He was unranked mostly due to I don't think he was on a bye week. I think he was just off the week of Masters Tour, so he just didn't play
Yeah.
that week, which happened to
He didn't
drop him a
take
little
over.
lower. Sanguine, Rage Doppel, Akura Finwee's back in the top 15, and Darkside is he's fallen a little bit in the last 2 weeks with his two losses in Legacy, but still hanging on to the honorable mentions.
Yeah. Darkseid has been having an amazing season. I mean, all of these players have. So Congratulations to all of them. Just because you're an honorable mention doesn't mean you're a bad player, anything like that. You're still doing a really good job, probably carrying your team or close to it if your team is doing well. So, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. This is essentially the top 15, 15 through 11 of a series that contains over what is it, almost 100 players. You got 18 teams in it,
Yeah.
so or almost 200 players rather. No, almost 100 players. Math is hard.
It has 5 times. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get to 200.
Actually it'll probably be a little over 200 with subs and whatnot. So yeah, of like the qualified players who started the season on rosters, you're right near the top. So very impressive. But these are the most impressive players, the top 10, and let's just roll the tape. We got a new leader. It's Ron Mexico, and Coles drops down one slot despite the win, despite still being undefeated. Ron Mexico. However, I will point out this means Ron Mexico's season is now done, so he's not going to be playing this week.
Yes.
He's at 7-1, and he just kind of has to dodge Coles, Lemons, and to a lesser extent Rabobson down at 6-1 in the 4 slot. So Rabobson roared back into the top 10 with a big win last week. Also of note, Zeroshio, who wasn't even like I think he was just outside the top 15. I think he was like top 16th.
Yeah.
Just spanking his way up to the 6th slot. Shibaka. I'm sorry, no, sorry. Shibaka was the one who came roaring in. Zeroshio has been hanging tight at number 6. Itachi fell just a little bit, and Liquid Ox hanging in there at 9. F. Back into the top 10 at number 10. So I know the Ron Mexico pick at 1 is controversial right now, but he does have more game wins. He does have a slightly stronger strength of schedule. And of course, he has one more match to his name. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts here? And Zeroshio would like to point out that his only loss was to him. Zeroshio, that's only because Ron has not played Sage yet in Legacy, or else he would be 6-2 right now.
True. I think if Coles can win this week, he is going to climb to 1. He's facing Triss, which is always a good match. So that's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, it's definitely a
Coles,
tough one.
yes. I don't. We're probably talking about this match later, but I do want to say there's a lot of hype to Zilfs versus Toxic Reinforcements this week.
Yeah, honestly, it's not one of the matches of the week, quote unquote, just because it's two teams that are likely already playoff bound.
Yeah, they're both playoff bound.
Right. So you're looking at although it is an important match seeding wise, it's not necessarily an important match in the grand
Yeah.
scope of the playoff race, since those two teams are
Yes.
pretty much locked in.
Yeah. Red has such an interesting. I could spend hours talking, or not hours, but I could spend quite a few minutes just talking about Red's interesting layout, where 3 teams are in and the rest is fighting for the 4th seed, which is really crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got 40 more minutes here, so you got time.
Yeah. we'll add in the end. We can do a questions from the viewers if you guys want. I'll talk about it for quite a while. But something of interest, I want to congratulate my albatrosses, Dusharmo and Shubaka here.
Absolutely.
Both carrying our team, doing a great job.
DeCharmo's carrying every team he's a part of right now.
Yes. Yeah, as I said, he hasn't been having too much work, so he's just spending so much time in Hearthstone. You know how it goes.
Hey, it's the right time as the playoff crunch happens. Now would be the
Yes.
time to be hot. So hopefully for
Yeah.
him not too much work. Hopefully for him the rest of the way he continues his streak unless it's against one of my teams, of course. In which case I hope you have a temporary setback. Still love you though, DeSharmo.
Yeah.
All right, so we have that's it for the legacy power ranking. So we have Hero up next. I don't think this one will be as spicy as as Legacy was, but everyone always finds something to pick out and be concerned over. But let's start with the honorable mentions, as we always do. Hockey Boys, obviously. Starlax, Anfall, and Thralamund. So Thralamund is a player who's been up and down, just like right around anywhere between 7 to like 15, 16 or so. So he's right there still. Anfall, I believe this is his first appearance on the honorable mentions or anywhere in the top 10 this season. Avi Hockey Boys were in the top 10 last week, just fell out barely. And Starlax, welcome to the club as well.
Yeah. These are all good players.
All
Yeah,
5
Avi
and
did
3.
fall. Yeah, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but Hero has this interesting effect going on because of the low polarity meta, where people aren't having that crazy high number of wins. So as long as you're above 50%, you're actually doing pretty well.
Or you could be like me and be 2 and 6 and not doing well.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Self slam.
You're just tanking your PR for next season.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. It certainly isn't me being frustrated by certain matchups and somehow throwing games.
Nah. Nah, of course not.
Well, let's talk about actual good plays. Stop tanking Donde. I will not stop tanking Desharmo, at least not unintentionally. So let's talk about the real good players who are the top 10 here. Agent Kiwi is our number one player. He moves up just the one slot into the number one. Ron Mexico, he was number one in Legacies and number two in Hero. So as much of a trouble he's having in Pro right now, he's pretty darn good elsewhere at 6 and 2. Desharmo, hey, another top three. Over here, he jumps up 5 slots. Big Ted, he was the unfortunate vacator of that one spot with a loss this past week, so he drops from 1 to 4. Not a big drop there. Catman slides down to one spot. Blue Spartan has now lost 2 weeks in a row. Not terribly so, so he's only going to drop down 3 spots to 6. Lil Hearthy at 7. Sage at 8. Those are both 2 slot drops. Quaz, welcome back to the top 10, my friend. I'm still not crazy. You definitely deserve it. 5 and 3 is a good record. And Isocles rounds it out at 10.
Yeah. Really strong players. I think there's just a mix of players from teams, a lot of experienced players like Desharmo, who's been around a while. Ron Mexico has been for 2 to 3 seasons now.
I think this is his third season.
Yeah, Quaz has been around forever.
And he's finally
Just
good.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
kidding, Quaz. Love you, buddy.
yeah. But congratulations to everyone who's here. It's interesting to see the effect that I think can be attributed to lineup polarity, where you don't see as many 8-0s or things like that, just because you can't guarantee it as much in Hero.
Well, I think even if you look at Legacy right now, we only have 2 undefeated players who've played a full or close to full
Yes.
schedule, with Coles at 7 and 0 and Lemons at 6 and 0. So I think it's
Yes.
not necessarily that it's all the lineup polarity, but just that it's really hard to do in a competitive environment to just go undefeated, and especially in a card game where sometimes things just don't go your way in the draw. Sometimes RNG just hits you wrong, and you just get saddled with a loss. It happens. So like Agent PWE could easily be 8-0 if that one loss, his games, he had drew one card better than what he did, or top decked Leroy in the right spot. Like that could be the difference, and that's why anybody who gets up to like this 6 and 2 range, or even 5 and 3, you have a great season, and nothing to take away.
Yes.
No bad takeaways from that.
Yes.
All right, so we will have the final power rankings next week for Legacy and Hero, the final player power rankings. But for right now, kind of a fun little thing we want to talk about. He's gonna be 7 and 2 this week. No, he's Desharmo playing Agent PWE. That's a huge matchup. That needs to be on stream. By the way, actually, quick pause on that before we move on to the Legacy and Hero meta trends. Just a couple things. First of all, we do still have some stream slots available. For some reason, we've been having
Ooh.
trouble filling a few things out. So if you're out there and you're interested in any matches, Friday 8 p.m. is available. Saturday is full. Sorry. Sunday
We
9
do
p.m. is
have
available.
one 2:30 p.m. on
And
Saturday.
2:30. Oh, sorry, 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. I was going down the list. Schoolstone's at the bottom of the list just because I'm never sure which day you guys are on. So yes.
Yeah, we change.
So yes, that is 8 p.m. Friday, 2:30 p.m. Saturday, or 9 p.m. Sunday. All 3 spots are available. First come, first serve. If you and your opponent are playing, then let me know, and we will get you on stream. Also, thank you, as we mentioned earlier, and subscribe to Twitch Prime. If you have Twitch Prime available, you can do so for free. You get one free sub with it each month, and we would love if you would make it ours, because it helps us continue to bring you better and varied content, and continue to help us make better off-season events, such as the Duos Tournament and the upcoming March Madness, which I'm sure we will be talking about shortly on
Yes.
HearthCenter as we move into the end of Legacy and Hero. So please do consider doing that, and make sure to follow so that you know when we go live. That's the ad break. Let's get back to actual real content. So Legacy and Hero meta trends. As we talked about here, we wanted to go over kind of the way that the classes rose and fall throughout the course of the season, and we've got some graphics for you as we usually do because there's no point in talking about this if we can't show you the cool stats, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And the stats I think are very cool. So let's
I would
see.
always agree.
Yeah, I know you're a stat guy, and I know you've got so many thoughts on how this whole thing breaks down. So let's start with Legacy. And let's bring that up so everyone can see what we are looking at. Hey, thanks Disco for the sub. The type chart is failing. So this is Legacy. So as you can see at the top here, it goes across from week 1 to last week, which was week 8. How many times that class was picked. And down below, you can see it represented in graph form. The colors are not in any way representative of the class. So like Hunter is red, for example. Sorry, that just it is what it is. Deal. So, what are your thoughts here immediately, Lotus? What's the first thing that pops in your mind? Are these Lotus or Donde stats? These are everyone's stats. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is our hat.
this. Yeah. Um, there's a lot here, so I think we should start just talking about the main events that happened. Week 1 was the week where we had Shaman nerfs. So part of this week was played with Shaman being a class. Part of it was played with whatever Shaman is now. Some call it a class. Some people are smarter than that,
Oh, it
so
exists.
it
It's
depends.
barely exists. One time it was picked in week 7. Once.
Yeah, and I think if I were to guess that week 8 is either a 2 or a 3.
It's a
So
it's a 3. The
this,
number's right up above you.
yeah, this does not look good. Shaman as a class kind of crumbled week 1, just completely down. And a lot of it is because they nerfed Invocation of Frost. That, in my
Well, they
opinion,
nerfed
is the
many
card
things.
that made the biggest difference. Just because of how cheap it is.
And I mean, it's not a completely one note class because you can play the overload version with like the token aggro kind of variant, and you still can play Galakrond Shaman. But man, I don't see anybody playing that on ladder. I don't see either of them playing it on ladder to be or playing
No.
anyone playing
Ladder
either of them
is
on ladder.
kind of
Ugh.
gone. Sometimes I
Yeah.
see aggro token shaman, but that's kind of it. Um,
Interesting thought. Diamond says, I wonder if the mage spike was during Arlington. Um, I don't know. Maybe a little bit. It's not. I mean, Mage has kind of spiked up and stayed there. Like it's not the most popular class, but over from the first half of the season, it was in single digits. Then all of a sudden, week 5 popped up to 16. I think people are just seeing the viability of it, knowing Legacy is always a tough format because you want classes that have multiple options. But when a class has only one real option and it's strong, people will still find a way to fit it in their lineup. I think we're seeing that with Highlander Mage.
I think Highlander Mage has one other effect that is Druid. Druid had a big growth starting on week 4 with Winged Guardian, and week 5/6 with the 2 cards that went into Quest Druid. The thing is, Quest Druid is really weak against Highlander Mage, and that came at the same time as Reno. So, as a way to stop this Druid growth, Mage has grown.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And just to call back to what Desharmo said earlier, Lemons is the psycho who brought Shaman in week 7 and did win.
Yeah.
He did win with it. So congratulations to Lemons for continuing to buck the trends and just say I like Thrall.
Yeah, that is true. Um, Something to add about the mage as well is apparently the elemental cards didn't have as much impact. They did grow a bit from 3 to 4, but that's like talking about 1 or 2 growths, so
Yeah,
not significant enough. The big growth was Reno, and was the fact that it techs well. In an interesting trend, kind of opposite to Mage, is Warlock, which is one of the most interesting classes here. I think we probably don't remember really well what cards Warlock got from the mini expansion. There was the 2/1 guy that gives attack.
yeah,
The other
not
two
really being
cards,
played.
yeah, you might remember that there's a 4/3 that corrupts a card in your opponent's hand just because that card sounds so cool.
Oh yeah, great tech card concept.
Yeah, pretty bad. Twisted Knowledge, it's great if you play Arena. Also, not the case anymore, but if you were playing last week, Twisted Knowledge could generate Blood Reaver Gul'dan, and it turns out that breaks Arena. Um, yeah, big surprise. Gul'dan is OP, still is, has been for
Always.
quite a while. So if you have a card that has a chance to generate Gul'dan, it just wins an Arena.
So
Um,
as Hat pointed out, Chaos Gazer is in fact that 4/3 that you were talking about that corrupts the card.
yes,
And I will admit there was a week where I brought it in Warlock. I brought 2 of it. And I think the problem is it really is a combo disruption card, and there aren't really any combo decks in the meta right now. Holy Wrath Paladin
there
largely
aren't.
doesn't exist. I mean, you can bring it, but if you pick wrong, you are going to get rolled, and
Yeah,
that's not a great feeling.
and there's a better combo disruption card on Albatross. Albatross
Very true.
just does the job better of delaying the combo for a few turns by basically saying you're going to need to draw a lot more, and you're drawing these 1/1 Albatrosses, which for Paladin is really bad because it
Absolutely.
messes with their Christology. It's just overall really bad draw. So
Yeah,
because of
Albatross is
that,
a great card.
Albatross is a great card. Chaos Gazer ended up not being solid. Um, so Warlock had this interesting trend that it didn't get anything. It's still really strong, especially in the beginning. It was really good because it just had Control Warlock, it had Zoo, just overall strong decks. But because it didn't get anything, it went down, with the exception of the Druid Climb, in which it actually did pretty well, just because Control Warlock has a great matchup against Druids, other than Quest. Then as Quest came in, it really fell down further because it's just a really hard matchup.
Uh, to address Zeroshia real quick, I did not say Holy Wrath players can't win in THL. I love Holy Wrath as a concept and as a deck. However, in a legacy lineup, if you bring it, oh, you're just rolling. Okay, sorry, I was about to get all high and mighty. I was say if you just bring it and then you're like, oh, I think I've got the juice to beat my opponent's lineup, and they just happen to go all in on Holy Wrath, then you are just feeling bad. I mean, you like the Rogue, for
Yeah.
example, Rogue, Hunter. You can't go all in on either of these classes because they still beat you anyway. Half
Yeah,
normally. That's fine.
the issue with Holy Wrath is you're going to lose to pretty much any hunter other than Quest sometimes. You're going to lose to
Oof,
Rogue just
flick.
because they have Flick.
Yeah,
So you're already losing to 2 of the biggest ones. You're going to lose to Warrior because they play charge everything. And Galakrond Warrior can beat you just by playing big minions that go face, or by gaining enough armor, both with Galakrond and with control.
definitely.
So, Druid can also armor up. So really, you're not winning that much anymore. You could beat Galakrond Shaman, but that's not a deck anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
And
that's a good point, and it definitely continues to speak to the flexibility of the classes in Legacy being king.
yes, Paladin does exhibit some flexibility. The main issue with Paladin, it started rising with Mech Paladin, especially as people realized Shotbot was really good. But the big issue was that Paladin went down as Warrior started going up again, because people realized Galakrond Warrior is really good, and Galakrond Warrior has an amazing Paladin matchup. So not only you lose to Rogue, you also lose to Galakrond Warrior. That brings you down quite
Very true.
significantly. And you can still lose to Hunter, which is the best class. It's been the best class ever since Hunter was discovered. It went up a bit with Quest and then with Dragon Hunter, but it's been the most brought class almost every week. So many of the players are bringing it. It's crazy.
And let's shift over to Hero real quick too, just to kind of see the difference, between the two
Yeah.
series.
And
Just
yeah,
doing that
Highlander
momentarily.
Mage can stay toe to toe with Paladin as well, just because you have enough
Yep.
gas to just pressure them before they can do anything.
Now, interestingly enough, let's talk about Mage, because if you look here, Mage did see the slight uptick in week 5 that Diamond had mentioned, where Arlington maybe provided with a boost, a little bit of popularity, but then it kind of slid right back down. It stayed in the single digits and isn't really that popular. Shaman was completely ghosted in week 6, which is the only class that can boast that this entire season, having a week
That's true.
where it just did not exist. But even then, single digits everywhere else other than week one. So the rise of Druid, not that surprising. And the numbers here you'll see are just in general lower because of the class volume. The amount of players that play in Hero are lower than Legacy. So Hunter right at the top, Rogue right near the top. Not a lot of shocking stuff here, I would imagine.
I think there's not a lot of shocking stuff. Part of the mage being lower, I think, comes from the fact that you want decks that just contest the style of deck. And Mage does not do that too well. Mage has good matchups, but Mage has an overall smooth spread. And in Hero, you actually like decks with not a smooth spread. So Paladin is going to be a bit higher. Priest is going to be a bit higher, with just Res being a very strong contender. Something interested in Hero as well is Warrior actually had an early peak and then is coming back a bit slower. So something to look for. Maybe Warrior's not coming back as fast just because it's losing a lot to Priest.
Yeah,
And
and I do like that you're bringing that up, that Priest is a little bit more popular in Hero as a whole than it is in Legacy. Um, can be very frustrating to play against, and definitely has the capability to win against almost any deck. But it's very disruptive with those I almost call them the good luck albatrosses. You've got me completely fooled. The bad luck albatrosses, and just in general a little bit of that extra little RNG you can get from your reses.
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've been kicked off the board in real time here because chunky peanut butter is better than smooth. I'm sorry. These are just facts,
It is
man.
better.
Thank you. Thank you for. There's a reason that we like to do this show together. It's because we think so similarly.
Yes. Uh, I think
Don't make me go off on a tangent about Girl Scout cookies right now because I will.
we have time today. So
We might. That became a discussion at work today as well. Bring rank limits on.
I don't
Love
think
it.
I've ever had Girl Scout cookies not being American, so that would be an interesting discussion.
I mean, they're in the stores, man. Just go out and get some.
Yes, I also shouldn't eat cookies, but
Are
that's a
you
different.
are you allergic?
No, I just don't want to gain the calories.
Oh well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we all?
Yeah. Um that being said though, I think the other interesting thing to look in Hero is Rogue isn't as present in Hero as it has been in Legacy. Especially week 7, Rogue had quite a down there. People are thinking about not bringing Rogue, which sounds crazy if you play ladder and every other matchup is a Rogue.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm sorry, I was too busy banning Diamond for his clearly wrong opinion.
He deserved it.
It makes for a different kind of interesting content. I'm sorry for not having engaged your last point, but yes, no, I do agree.
Yeah, I think so.
And Desharma's
Um,
right. Hero, you can't be afraid to bring one class, and that's fine because that one class you could be bringing it just specifically to say like I want to block this one matchup, and if you lose, elsewhere with it because that matchup either didn't exist or you just happen to be wrong. Like that's not the end of the world. It's you lost a match, whatever. You move on to your next deck. Unlike Conquest, where you got to win with it eventually. So, um,
yes. Yeah, this is especially good again for Paladin, just because Mech Paladin can do that really well. Just stomp those druids, stomp those hunters, and that's good enough. Or just ban hunter like most people do.
yeah, most people are going to ban Hunter and or Rogue. Well, not and or you can't ban them both, but or Rogue. You can kind of see if you look at the ban. We don't have the like charts for that, but I'm sure the bans will read out to show you that Hunter and Rogue are the most likely to be banned in both series.
Yeah, I would also say Priest is going to have a ban, especially in Legacy, just because of the polarity nature of Priest. And if
Yes,
you don't want to deal with it, it's fine to ban it. Sometimes that can be the right choice because then your opponent is left without a control deck, and that can lead to some much harder matches.
definitely. Completely agree with that. So, we've got matches of the week. As we talked about earlier, not all of these have managed to have a stream representative yet, or a pair of representatives, and we are still looking to fill a few slots. So, welcome, Brick. Thanks for coming on. Um, so we have what the matches I think are the best for each series. So we'll still talk about those even if they're not going to necessarily have stream representation here. Let's start with Legacy. And nope, that's not going to work because the matches were going to be hidden behind the charts. There we go. So in red is not YJ's versus Just Rogue things, and now these are not, as we mentioned, Zilfs and Toxic. It's a fantastic matchup this week, no doubt, and definitely one that people might look at and be like, that's a potential playoff match too. But not YJ's and Just Rogue things. One of these teams is not going to make the playoffs guaranteed. One of these
Yes.
teams very well could make the playoffs and needs to really crush the other.
Yes.
So this is going to be, I think, the one to watch this week. Don't have any of these on stream yet. Would love to get something on stream, but just kind of looking at the matchups here. Just Rogue things. A lot of the players have been on that Defias Brotherhood team that have struggled in Pro, but have been doing pretty well here in Legacy. Epical Noise and Dexter are both at 4 and 3 right now. Comp and Nebkanak are both at 3 and 4, and just kind of on the outside of that 500 level. Ekoname at the 2 seed has struggled a little bit, and is unfortunately for him going against Lemons this week. So, what do you think is going to happen overall here in this match this week?
Sure. I think this is going to be a great match. JRT, they might not have done well against us Albatrosses last week, but they also had 2 DQs, and it was still a very solid match. I know Comp was pretty busy at his time and not too focused on his match against me. So if he's focused, I think he can do a great job. But I still have to go for NZ Lemons. This is just really strong duo to start. I think Lemons beats Ekoname. I will say Slay will beat Nabkanak or Leb Canuck. Is Epical Noise getting a sub?
That I would have to check the email for. I have not seen anything specific regarding that.
Okay, because he was MIA last week, and I just want to make sure that that's not an issue again.
Yeah, as Hat said, if they are, we don't know about it. So that would be
Okay.
important to hear about.
Yeah, I think he wasn't around last week, so that might be something this week. If not, just because of PR, I have to give him the win against Kid Eternity. And I think Dexter is going to beat Silver T Fox. But if you do want to hear Silver T Fox, he will be there on Friday, just on stream with me.
Well, there you go. Good plug.
Yeah?
I do have to agree. I think Not YJ's is certainly the favorite team, and honestly, I thought they were a playoff contender before the season even began. Just kind of looking at, or not
Yeah.
before the season began, like early in the season here, before they had a little bit of a lull. They came roaring back. I thought that they were a better team than that. That like mid to early season lull kind of indicated. So I think that it wouldn't be surprising to see them make the playoffs, and it's going to end up putting them in a tough position because they'll most likely make it at like a 4 seed, end up playing Dad Legend over in gold, which would be a tough one to overcome for any team. But you'd rather make the playoffs than not. There's no advantage to not making the playoffs. So it's not like other sports where you get to draft higher. If you finish lower, that's not how we roll. So you might as well make the playoffs. I think not why Joe's will get there.
Yes. I would say so.
So talking about gold, we got Pod People versus Wet Well Men, who are 1 point apart over in gold. And this is another situation where I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're both like the 3 and the 4.
Yeah, I think whoever wins is in, and the other one might be in, might not, because it depends on a Dude versus ATL. That being said,
Correct.
ATL is not having a very favorable schedule or number of points, basically. So a Dude has a really strong chance. And I think they're going to come in as the 4 or even the 3, and whoever wins this match of Pod People versus Wet Woman is going in.
Yeah, so this is, like you said, it's pretty much a win and in situation, which amazing to think. Like Wet Woman are 5-1-1 and could potentially not make the playoffs with a team record like that. Pod People, they do have the advantage point wise right now. I don't think that 1 point will make any sort of difference considering this match is basically all it comes down to here. And yeah, as you said, Asadud would like to sneak in, but let's not forget about the Galacronies, who are kind of dark horsing right now. They're 8 points away from Wet Womed. So
Yes.
if Asadud happens to tank against ATL, and either Pod People or Wet Women really spank each other, Galacronies could
Yeah.
sneak in, and they're up 4-0 on Saturday Night Pain Gang right now. As Two-Star Mako won in a sweep over Cypher Zero, so
Yeah.
that's hot new deets for you there. So there's a lot of possibilities here. I think it's any one of those 4 teams is going to make the playoffs. Well, 2 of them will make the playoffs. We just don't know which ones yet. Looking at the lineup here, who do you think wins, Pod People or Wet Woman?
So our hat is going versus Liquid Ox is going to be an insane match, which you can all watch at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Schoolstone this Saturday. Please come watch it. Basink and I will be casting, and it's going to be a ton of fun. I am super excited for it. I'm not going to bet because as a caster, I need to be
Impartial.
Yeah, I need to be impartial, and I would be low-key terrified in any of their shoes.
Well, if you weren't just excited about that match, you can then continue to watch Saturday evening. Dragon Rider versus Zeroshia will be on 8 p.m. kicking us off Saturday
Ooh,
night. So
hype.
yeah, those are both of the 2, 1 and 2 seeds here are going to be on stream this week. So not only is this a huge matchup, it's going to be out there for everyone to see. And I think we have four of the best players in THL on those 2 streams. So it's exciting, and I
Yes.
think it's too close to call right now. I think this could go either way. Saku is 1 and 3, but he's been playing so very well lately. He's 4-0 in his last 4 weeks in Hero. I might have just jinxed it. I don't know. That Corky should definitely be on high alert. And Wicked Good versus Madieb should be another very, very tightly contested match. Mad Arms versus JR Juggernaut. Like, I think I could see any one of these matches going in either direction.
Yeah, I think I can see anything from these. Yeah, I could see this being a 20-0. I can see this being anything. I expect it to be a mid thing. I think this is going to be tighter than it seems, but these are some insane matches. I think it will all depend on how much work these players are putting this week, and I think we should all be happy that we're seeing this as such a contested match right now to close the season for Legacy or the regular season.
Yeah, this is it's one of the better races we've seen. One of the tighter races we've seen in any of the series for the last few seasons. So definitely excited to have a lot of these matches on stream, and should be exciting. And as Hat pointed out, we want to give a shout out to Zeroshio.
Yeah, that's true. What was his starting PR?
I don't know. Maybe Hat might know.
Yeah, that would be fun information. We should create a 550 club.
550 club. I mean, I've touched it, but I haven't stayed there.
Can we create a 550 club for people who reach 550 in both series?
I mean, I'm sure we can. So Zeroshio, congratulations, my friend. 500 PR is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, no, definitely
very
not.
Strong PR on the 2 seed. He said he started at 421 PR, so that is an impressive bump against consistent tough opponents. And Hat just said JR just won over Matt 3-1, so that means Wet Women are up 4-1 in the early going here. Thank you for the live updates.
Yeah. I think this match will be all about Saku versus Quirky Turtle. I actually think that's going to be the most important match here.
Well, we will have to see. Maybe they'll get on stream at some point.
That would be cool.
Remember, if you haven't got on stream yet, getting on stream is one way to make it into the March Madness tournament. If you are one of the top, stream appearance, top members of THL by stream appearances, you will get an automatic berth into the tournament. So, if you were on the brink, and you think you want to boost your numbers, Ron Mexico's been boosting his numbers hard. Why don't you join him? Come on down, get on stream.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, sorry.
No, it does not count if you're on stream as an OPR caster, though.
Yes, no, you must play. You must play on stream. We've had people asking about that. I was very clear at the beginning of the season. As much as I love the casters and appreciate what the stream ops do, they do not count towards that incentive.
I mean,
Ron is
we're
a
winning
stream
legacy
thief.
anyway, so
Ron is a stream thief insofar as he is very quick to message me whenever I request a match of his to be on stream. He's just all about it. So yeah, he is very quick, but that does not make him a thief. It just makes him fast. So, Burninator's versus Teen Hearth Legends is our hero pick here. This is another situation where it might only come down to one of these teams making the playoffs between Burninator's Team Hearth Legends. So, Ron Mexico is obviously a fantastic match. I've been waiting to drop that one ever
yes.
since somebody said, "Oh, this is clearly a play on obviously," and I just didn't even get it until someone said it. So, thank you for blowing my brain apart. That one's going to be on stream as well. I think that one's on Saturday or Friday night rather at 8 or it's 7. So we're starting at 7 on Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. So Friday at 7, and then we're still looking for that 8 p.m. match.
Yeah. It's going to be our Friday. Friday matches. Yeah, Romexico versus Avi, which is going to be fantastic. They're just two great players playing hero. Should be a lot of fun.
And fall playoff streams do count towards that. Yes.
I think out of these matches, though, Loharthy versus Catman looks insane. Liquid Ox in the 3 is a steal. Said it a few times already, so gotta have to give it to him. Chewbacca versus Medusa is going to be a really good match. Chewbacca is still underrated in PR, even in Hero. He's been playing so well, and I'm expecting him to continue shining. And I think Copper can take it, so I have to give this one to THL.
You know, when THL wins, we all win.
True.
But
Except we're not teens anymore.
no, we're not teens. We are teams. It should be noted that again, as we pointed out, these teams are both going to find it hard to make the playoffs because somebody's got to lose, and the Cult is only 1 point behind Teen Hearth Legends right now for that 4 slot. They are down 4-1 right now on ATL. ATL is actually playing a little bit of spoiler here, but Team NPH is 2 points out of the playoffs, and they already have a 4-0 win with Pasca beating Mad at Arms. So this is going to be a very, very interesting race. So I think no matter what, whoever wins Burnators versus THL does get into the playoffs, and then it will either be Cult or No Pros here, being that remaining team. So just looking at this, I think as hard as it is to pick against Avi, Ron Mexico is the hotter player this season, not counting Pro. This isn't Pro. So I got to go with Ron. Lil Harthy's having a fantastic opening rookie season, so I'm going to go Lil Harthy there in the 2. And I think that's enough to really get most of the way here for Burnators. Liquid, I think, over Shiny. I'll say Shu over Medusa, so it comes down to the 4 or comes down to the 5 seed, and I think Silver's going to get the job done over Copper Talon, but it'll be a 3-2 win for Silver to send the Burnators to the playoffs.
Yep. Also, Silvers, if you're watching, don't be mad at me when we cast together on Friday because I bet twice against you this week.
Yeah, that might be a little tense moment there.
Yes, I also do not know what I'm doing, so I apologize for any mistakes.
That's okay. So, last match of the week, Donde taking the Diamond Hero Curse into account. That's true. I forgot all about that. Hadn't even thought about that until now. Your teams are always right in it in the last few steps of the season, and then I unfortunately was part of that hero debacle. Your Mumked won 3-2. Which series are we talking about there, Brick?
Probably the Pro Series.
He's
versus
correct.
Cinemac.
Yes, I just refreshed the page, and yes, your Mumked did win 3-2. So we got a 4-2 lead for Taste the Rainbow. This is still our match of the week in Pro. So of course we've got 3 weeks left in Pro. So this is still a lot of playoff implications, but not directly a win and in scenario like the others. So yeah, your mum over CMAC, big win. We talked about it earlier. Your mum, Brick, and Inzi have been killing it in that 1-2-3 for Taste the Rainbow. So do we think that they can pull off that sweep again this week?
I wouldn't be surprised. They've been doing really well. They're all super solid players this season. Taste the Rainbow has been winning because of their 1, 2, and 3. Jimmy Eat Shoes might be able to take the slot that Skittles left and just catch the team back up. And if Quirky Turtle can arrange her pro play, she can come back, and this might still be a very strong week for Taste the Rainbow. I think C-Mac losing is very bad for Tap Last because he's Tap Last's strongest player in win rate wise so far. So, and he's also an amazing player, etc., etc. So I think Tap Last is going to have a harder week, and it's not going to be easy for them to win. I think Bill beats Quirky. I think Nerdstrom is going to lose, and I think Heatchuck is going to lose, and Valdez is also going to lose. And I think that's going to be a 4-1 for Taste the Rainbow.
Yeah, I can see Valdez versus Jimmy going either way. We don't know much about Jimmy yet.
Yes.
We do know Jimmy came out and got a big win first week. Valdez has been a
Yeah.
500 player, so I think that one could go either way. But I do think that the 1 through 3 go to Taste the Rainbow, and this is going to make that pro playoff race even tighter as we enter the last 2 weeks of the season. There was
Yes.
one more match we have on stream. It was not one of the featured matches this week because we just kind of at this point now we're accepting matches to fill the slots. But Super Murloc for DSM-5 will be playing Hockey Boys in Hero at 8 p.m. on Sunday. So that's our first match on Sunday. Yeah, Donde did vote for you, man. He's on the brick train.
I mean, we both are.
So
But
that
I do tend to vote for Brick.
oh yeah, I love Lamp. So that is the end of what we had planned. We do we do have a few minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, happy to talk about it. I was gonna ask you, Lotus, what your favorite Girl Scout cookie was, but then you told us you didn't ever have any Girl Scout cookies, which is I
No.
don't know how that just happened.
You know, just not in the US, Girl Scouts are not a thing.
Um, yeah, I mean I know that.
Yeah. It seems like Isocles has a question. Oh, Disco has a question.
What
Biggest surprise so far this season in any series?
biggest surprise? From team perspective, in any series. Wow. That's a pretty broad question. Let me take a look. As far as players are concerned, um, I guess I wouldn't say this is a surprise necessarily, but the fact that Ron Mexico has been able to keep his play from crossover player of last season at the level that
Yes.
he's at now. Like usually you don't see people have multiple seasons in a row at that same high level, high caliber of play. And in Pro and Legacy, or in Hero and Legacy, he's been phenomenal again. So I think that is probably one of the not. I guess I would say the biggest surprise, but to me that's just a surprise at how hard it is to do something like that.
Right. I would say that's true. Is there anything I would like to add? I think to me, Taste the Rainbow. Taste the Rainbow was a surprise. I did not expect them to be doing this well, and they're crushing it this season. So, going to have to give it to them.
I would say on the flip side, also surprising, Tanpam Surf Slam and Hero, the struggle that
Yes.
they've had. They're a much better team, and I thought that they were a playoff contender from day one. 1-7 right now, not what I would have expected out of the gate. Lefty and Dirty Mike have struggled really hard. They only have It's Me Mike V at 500 right now. So yeah, I would say disappointing season for them. I know they'll be back again. I know that they'll bounce back because they're a very consistent, tight knit team. But I think that's a surprise to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So why no pro player power rankings? Good question. We've talked about this before. It's kind of tough to do the pro player power rankings because the teams already shift as everybody goes up and down in record, of course. So a lot of what we do for the power rankings is predicated on strength of schedule, and naturally, the better your record, the stronger your schedule is going to be just by default because you're going to play the other teams 1 seeds and 2 seeds. Yes, why not pro power rankings? I wonder why Hat would like the power rankings. So it makes like kind of a runaway effect a little bit, where the players that are the
Yeah.
1 seeds and the 2 seeds tend to play the harder players, so they end up getting well, not the harder players, but the players with the better records, so they get
Yeah.
more credit in the formula. I will say that we actually have done the power rankings. Yeah, probably exactly. Ducharme is exactly what it would be. It would be like every 1 seed and then a few 2 seeds. Why not split the difference and only name the number 1 player? You know what? I'm gonna do you one better, Hat. I'm going to name the players who are 2 through 5 because we actually have done this as kind of an exercise to see how it will all shake out. So I do have a player power ranking for pro. It's not all that surprising, but
Can I guess?
who the number 2 player is? You certainly can.
So my guess is Hat is 1.
No, we don't want to talk about number 1. We just want to talk about number 2.
Number 2, okay, I think it is your mom kid.
Your mom kid's in the top 5. He's number 5.
Ducharme, maybe?
Nope, Ducharme's 10th.
Mayan?
That is correct. My Anadon is number 2. I'm looking at the sheet right now, and Hat just popped into the sheet. I see his color box moving all around. He's gonna do some copy paste, I'm sure. My Anadon is 2, Snake is 3, Solo Jazz is 4, and your Mumcat is 5. He's typing at me right now in the sheet.
Hat is cheating here.
He would like me to point out by we ran an exercise. He means I automated your stuff. He used a different word. He did. Hat is fantastic and has automated so much of what I had to do by hand a lot of the time, and I say had to do. Basically, I hate to burden anyone, so I was doing like power rankings each week, recalculating things, a lot of manual input, which we know Hat is not a fan of. So he very graciously offered to make my life much easier, and he has made my life so much easier with a lot of stat related stuff for content. So I do thank him. And yes, he is the number 1 player right now in pro according to the formula that I made and he automated. So you know there's nothing going on in the background. By the way, manual means inaccurate. So there were some inaccuracies. Okay, it was not a perfect process. I tried my best. And sometimes you don't succeed. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
No, Ron Mexico is not the number 1 player in pro. He's 2-6 in pro right now.
Yeah, he's number 1 in Legacy though. If you haven't watched the whole show, you can go back and we talked about it for quite a bit.
Oh yeah, no, we love Ron, but he's not.
Yes.
He's not number 1 in pro this season.
Yeah.
I would be in the top 15 in pro. Just saying, while we're tooting horns. Literally 15. So, hey, I was there for that part of the show. So okay, that's it. That's all we got. I do like the parts of the night where we can take questions because that is always fun. So we'll try to bring that back more frequently in the future. We are going to have a guest next week on HearthCenter. That will be hopefully Based Inc. She's been doing phenomenal with the pro predictions.
Yeah.
So just going to hopefully integrate that right into the show, and that should be a lot of fun. So come back next Wednesday. We'll have stuff about the pro playoff race because we'll be 2 weeks left. Based should hopefully be here, and Lotus will be back with me again. So
yeah, I will be back. Just in case Blizzard is listening, I've been saying this a lot, but Hall of Fame Edwin Van Cleef, 2020, it's time. Let's do it.
Okay. We've seen how well elections have worked recently, so you can try to campaign, but I don't know how well your voice can be heard. But you can try. That's it. That's it for us. Thanks again, Lotus. Thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to everyone who comes out every week. And even if you can't catch us live, thanks for everyone who tunes in on the VOD and then blows us up in the Discord after the fact. I always appreciate that nonetheless. So good luck to everybody. Good luck to all the playoff teams, or the teams fighting for playoff spots in your matches this week. And we will see you next Wednesday. Have a great night, everybody.
See y'all.